Thank you for joining Stamp It Up with Kathy Goodman. Today we are making a card with the Sweet Ice Cream set. It is in the January through June 2021 mini catalog from Stampin' Up. It's on page 48 and 49. There are a lot of really cool things that you can make with that. I am also using the Basic Borders die set to cut out. It almost looks like a cloud shape. You could use it for clouds. I've used it for ice cream. So what I've done is I've taken that and cut that off and then just kind of moved it a little bit, cut right there, and did the same for the whipped cream. So I have basically whipped cream, chocolate sauce, and strawberry ice cream is what I'm going with. My drips of ice cream, I used an old die from a rain. It's actually raindrops or drops of water, and I've put little raindrop clear epoxy droplets over the top to make them look like the drips of ice cream are actually wet. And then for my ice cream spoon, I used an old tea set that had the spoon and a knife and a fork in it. So I've used that from a retired set. So let's get started. We're going to pull in our card pieces. For this one, I used the In Color Designer Series paper for the background. I thought for the one we do today, I'm using Cinnamon Cider for the base, and this is a piece 5.5 by 4 1/4, and then I cut another piece of Cinnamon Cider, a half an inch, not a half an inch, 1/4 of an inch smaller. So this is 4 by 5 1/4. I ran it through the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine with the Tasteful Textiles embossing folder. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add liquid glue to the back of that, and then we're going to put this on our card base. So we're going to just put a dot of glue all the way around the edges, and we got a little bit on the front, but that's okay. We'll just wipe that off. Okay, and then what I'm doing is just making sure I have an even border all the way around, and then pushing gently, making sure that is adhered to the card base. Now we're going to bring in one of our new colors. This is Polished Pink, and we're going to before we add this to our base, let's go ahead and we're going to stamp Happy Birthday. This is from the Sweet Ice Cream stamp set. So we're going to bring in our Polished Pink ink, and we're going to stamp that right across here, right across our scoops of ice cream. There we go. We've got that done. Now we are going to add our layers. This is our chocolate, either our, I would like to say that it is chocolate fudge topping, hot fudge topping. So here we go. We're going to add our hot fudge to our card base. what you want to be careful of is that you're not covering your words. That's why you want to stamp those first, to give yourself plenty of room for your happy birthday sentiment. And then I'm going to add our whipped cream to the top of our card. And we just want to make sure that we don't have it coming too close so it's not over the edge, and we've got that good. So here's, oh, I had pink ink on my fingers, so now I have a little bit of pink on my card. Oh well, we'll see if we can erase part of that. If not, we can always add sprinkles. So let's get our little, let's add some sprinkles. Since I've got pink ink on it, we'll add sprinkles to our whipped cream. So this, we're just going to put our sprinkle stamp into the polished pink ink, and we're going to put some sprinkles on here. There we go. And that, every time you stamp it, if you change the direction, it kind of gives more interest to your stamps. There we go. That adds maybe there we go. So this one will be just a little bit different than the other one we made, but that's okay. Let's add a piece of Whisper White to the inside. This pink piece of polished pink piece of paper is 3.5 by 8.5, and then I cut the border die. The longest part of it is just a little, right around 7.5 inches. Let's put this on the inside. We're just giving this just a little bit of a border, so this is cut really close to the same size. Let's add our ice cream bowl. Is actually from the Ice Cream Corner Designer Series paper. It is the back side of the one that has ice cream cones on it. So there we go. I took a circle die and cut this out, and what I wanted to do was just make sure that when you glue this on, that it's none of the white shows. So you don't want it down here to where the white shows, so it doesn't look like your ice cream is in your bowl. So right about here is where we want it. So let's just lift this up a little bit, add some glue. There we go. And that way we've got it lined up where we want it. There. Our ice cream is actually in our bowl. I added just a little piece that I'm going to tuck under the edge of our waffle cone bowl. So there we go. We'll add this right down here. And this is going to give us just a little bit of a base on our bowl. Looks really cute. And then for fun, let's add a spoon. You can add your spoon. I added mine straight across the last time. Let's add it at an angle this time, just for something different. And I cut this out of silver foil paper. to make it look more like a silver spoon. So there we go. We've got that. Got our, oops, got a little bit of glue leaking out. Get that away. Okay, there we go. So now we have that. Let's bring in our card base. We put happy birthday on the front, but now let's add hope it's sweet, and we're going to use early espresso ink so it'll really pop out, and I'm going to put it right above the bowl. So you stamp down firmly, then lift it. Looks good. So we're going to glue this to our card base. This is a fun little card. You could also take this same technique and do a full card base. Instead of making it smaller, you could do the full, and then I did the whipped cream, or I guess you could call it vanilla ice cream, strawberry ice cream, and then the chocolate fudge, hot fudge on the top, and then I put hope it's sweet, and then my waffle cone is just straight across. So kind of gives you an idea of something else you can do with this. Let's put in, we haven't put our drips of ice cream on yet, so I like to use, and I didn't bring it, I like to use my take your pick tool, the putty end of it, but I forgot to bring it, so we'll just have to do it without. So you're just going to put a dot of glue where you're going to put your ice cream drips, and I'm going to do one right there. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to add our little raindrops of ice cream. No one will ever know this is really raindrops, but we also have in the stamp set, there's a drip stamp that you could stamp. I didn't do it on this one because I wanted it a little bit darker, but you could do that instead of. So we got our chocolate syrup dripping on our strawberry ice cream, and then right down here we have another drip of ice cream that's headed towards our spoon. There we go. Now we got our 3 drops of ice cream on there. Let's add the little droplets on top. This is a really cool touch. It makes it look like they're really wet. These are epoxy droplets. See the difference? This one looks like it's really a wet drip, whereas the other one looked kind of boring and plain. Okay, here we go. Let's get drop number 2 on there, if it'll cooperate. We're just lining it up on top of the chocolate syrup here. Let's see. You want to gently get it in place before you push it down. That way you have wiggle room, because if you attach it before you get it all lined up, sometimes it will tear your paper. Okay. Let's add our last little droplet. Oops, we got it sideways here. We'll add that. There we go. There we go. So here's our two samples. One of them I've used designer series paper, while the other one we just used an embossing folder and added texture to the paper. On the inside we've added Hope It's Sweet, and that is still from the Sweet Ice Cream stamp set. Thank you very much for joining me today. We'll also bring in the other card that I showed you, something that you could do just a little bit different. And I did use the ice cream drip stamp to do the drips of ice cream and hot fudge on this one. Thank you very much for joining. I hope you have a blessed day. We'll see you soon.